Hi, I'm Blueprint and I play Organic Path of Exile, which is a playstyle of Path of Exile that doesn't require the use of Path of Building. In last video called Tax System Introduction, if you haven't watched it, please watch it. I have explained to you that I use a deep knowledge of the tax system to play the game. The second tool that I use to play the game without the use of path of building is the archetype blueprint. Every archetype in the game, every build in the game has one single archetype. Today I want to show you how to apply the long list of tags created by the tag system, which is the definition of your archetype, and copy them into the skill tree using the archetype blueprint, right? So the first thing you want to do is let's understand how the skill tree is built or structured. So the skill tree is divided into two big sections. One is the base tree, which is around character level 85, and the relative tree. The base tree is basically the backbone of every archetype, or you could call it the most basic form of every archetype, or you could also say the minimum requirement for every archetype to function properly. The relative tree is the tree where you have your own player freedom. Other than that, the tree is also divided into 6 areas. The first area is the starting area, which is around 17 points. The second area of the tree is the main skill investment area, which is around 20 points. The third area is enabling tags. Fourth area of the tree are defensive 12 clusters, or the equivalent value, which I will not explain what it means right now because this is going to be another video. It's more about specialization, but the 12 defenses. What are the 12 defensive clusters of this fourth area of the tree? Are 6 effective life pool clusters, 12 global defense clusters, which are armor, evasion, energy shield, and hybrid, 2 sustain clusters, which are things like leech and regen, and for example also energy shield recharge, 2 mechanical clusters, which are basically things like mechanical defenses, which are basically things like suppression, maximum elemental resistances, fortify, block, and so on, right? The fifth area of the skill tree are the travel nodes, right? The most important about the travel nodes area of the skill tree, that is no more than 24 points. Anything above 24 points is basically unbalanced for the unbalance. The last area of the skill tree is the specialization. Today I want to show you how to build the base tree, right? How to build the base tree using the tag list and this model, right? So I have prepared a tag list for double strike gem, a very simple one, just for the case of example. If you want to learn this skill, if you want to learn how to do it, I highly recommend you write down every tag that you have added through the gear and gems and support gems on your character, and write down all the tags as a practice. Once you have done that enough, you will not need this step, but I highly recommend you learn it by doing the tag list, writing it down on something, right? So the first thing what we want to do is to see what tags we get from the double strike gem, right? So attack, melee, strike, physical, bleed. What these tags do, or the function of the gem tags, is the function of basically limiting what kind of passives on the skill tree are available to us, right? And this is very important because we will later need to select only from this limited passives our DPS text from the character, right? For this example, I choose main hand and offhand text to be one-handed sword and shield, right, added to the character, as well as for defense, armor, and evasion, right? So let's take a look first on our model or blueprint, what at the first area of the tree, which is the starting area, around 17 points, right? So the starting area, definition of starting area is basically anything within the range of 17 points, right? So what you want to do is basically pick all the text that you have. In this case, I said my offhand is a shield, so I pick up the shield nodes, and as you see, by picking all those nodes, including mana, because the character has a mana tag on default, so I can scale it here. Everything that is within the range of 70 points is the definition of starting area. However, this is just one solution. We have another tag from the double strike, which was bleed. So if I pick this cluster, Wicked Blade, I also have around 17 points, in this case 18, and this is another solution to a starting area. So it's all about there are multiple solutions to starting area as long as it's around 17 points, right? Very, very easy. So let's take a look at the second section of the skill tree, right? This is the second most important section of the skill of the skill tree, is the main skill 20 points investment. So in our case, the main skill is double strike, and as I said, it has gem tags that limit the amount of passives we can pick on the skill tree. Our goal is right now to travel to those areas of the passives on the tree that has those tags, while matching also our DPS calculation tags that we have here from our character, right? How do I know DPS calculation tags? All I have to do is analyze the double strike gem, how the DPS looks like on this, right? So the basic one is flat damage, which is, by the way, not available on the tree, so you don't have to worry about it. Increased damage is available on the tree. More damage multiplier is mostly sourced from gems, so you don't have to worry about the skill tree. There are some more damage multipliers, but you don't have to worry about that one on the skill tree. This is just for damage calculation text, showcase. Accuracy is something that we can scale on the skill tree. Attack speed and crit chance and crit multiplier and bleed, because bleed is from the double strike bleed here, added to the basic calculation, DPS calculation, right? So other than that, so let's take a look. How do I build now the main skill investment onto the tree, which are 20 points, and all of those tags that are available on the tree, limited by all those tags, needs to be selected, right? So let's take a look back on our tree. So we said that we are with the shield, so we can definitely use shield nodes. And if I'll zoom in, if I pick this shield nodes, for example, this is just one solution. There could be multiple solutions. This doesn't have to be exactly the same way. But the point is, if I pick this, I have some retaliation, not passives. I have here attack speed and increased damage, right? And how many points are there? Those 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and the rule is, when you are doing this, that I forgot to say, but the number one rule is, if you're picking up the passives on the skill tree, every tag has to be, that is enabling, damage enabling, has to be scaled at minimum 1 time, right? At minimum 1 time, that has to be every damage tag from the DPS calculation has to be represented on the on the skill tree at least one time. If you ignore one singular tag without removing it mechanically, for example with resolute technique or other means, then your build will fail or will be just be worse, right? I had learned it the hard way, so please never ignore a single tag on the list. So by picking up this, we have at least one time scaled attack speed. So let's move on. And the next tag is, for example, we have here sword tag, right? So what we can do, because we're using a sword, we can pick this cluster, blade of cunning, right? So this cluster gives me critical strike chance tag, critical multiplier tag, and gives me some accuracy, right? So just by picking this cluster, what happened? We have at least scaled accuracy, and one time accuracy, we have scaled crit and crit multiplier, right? By picking this cluster. So let's move on. So those are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are 8 points. So the next thing we had the bleed tag. So we have to scale bleed at least once on the skill tree. So here to here, and so now we have attack speed 1, 2, 3 and increased damage 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, right? Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so around 20 points main skill investment we have now selected on the tree, which and all of those passives contain at least minimum one time one of those DPS calculation tags, right? So we have increased damage, right? Let's check. We have increased damage on this cluster, retaliation cluster, is increased damage while holding a shield. Then we have some increased damage, increased physical damage with swords, right? So let's check accuracy. We have some at least one time scale accuracy on this node, has an increased accuracy rating with sword. So let's check attack speed. We have some attack speed at least one time. We have on retaliation has increased attack speed while holding a shield, check. And we have some even here also we have attack speed while holding a sword. So but we have at least one time, right? That's the most important thing. And crit and crit multiplier. Do we have crit and crit multiplier? Yes, we have crit and crit multiplier by picking Blade of Cunning, with crit chance, and crit multiplier with sword, check. And now do we have bleed? Yes, we do have bleed. So we have here scaled some damage of our multiplier with bleeding, right? Check. So we have hit every single DPS tag by picking up all the gem limiting tags, right, from the double strike and main hand and offhand, and the number equals 20, right? So one more time I have to show you, this is the most important part. I'm sorry I repeat myself, but this is really the most important part of this entire video probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points, right? So around 20 points, and we have all those DPS tags fit into this 20 points. So that is how you determine your main skill 20 points investment. This is the second part of the tree, right? So so enabling tags, right? So what enables my main skill archetype function, right? So if you think about if you think about what is double strike, it's a gem, single target gem, and if you want to clear with it many monsters or packs of monsters, you have to enable clear. So there might be multiple solutions, but one solution is, for example, because we have to enable this gems clear, we have to pick melee splash on the tree, right? This is the enabling section of the tree. It's melee splash, right? Tribal Fury, melee splash deals damage to surrounding targets, right? So that's how you enable this double strikes clear. Another thing is, because gems cost mana, I have to sustain. I have to enable my mana sustain. So you would have to scale some mana leech. For example, here, this 1 point would be enough. You need to have some mana leech, right? This would be also an enabling tag here. In this case, this is enough, I would say. So this is the whole point about asking yourself, what is my enabling tag, right? And sometimes you have to enable your main skill points, but sometimes you have to enable your defense, right? So let's then take a look about how to pick 12 defensive clusters for your archetype. So the first thing you want to pick, you want to decide on 6 effective life pool clusters, right? So let's just do it, right? So the first life cluster we already have from starting area, so that's 1. Second one we just picked by traveling down here, so this is cluster number 2, life cluster number 2. Then here on this path we have the cluster number 3, bloodless, right? Then we have cluster number 4, Juggernaut, right? So now we need 2 more clusters, right? So now we can decide. Now this is flexible, right? Because there are multiple solutions. How do I pick 2 more clusters? I could pick barbarism here on the Marauder side. I could pick the Scion, Constitution, or I could pick here attach to thick skin on the Ranger side. So for the ease of so there's multiple solutions, which will later affect what else you can get, right? So think about it carefully and choose yourself, right? So this is number 5, and let's say most people like Constitution, so we're gonna pick Constitution. Nice life here. Okay, so one more time, how many life clusters we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Constitution, and 6 with thick skin, right? So let's move on to the defensive clusters. The second defensive cluster, the second thing is 2 global defense clusters, right? So which is armor, energy, shield, and evasion, and all the hybrids, right? In this example, I choose having armor and evasion as my main defense, but you can choose differently as long as on the path you traveled, right? But so all you have to do now is basically click on 2 clusters of armor and energy shield. So this is 1, this is 2, right? Armor and evasion, right? Those are 2 clusters. Done. Bam. Super easy, right? The second thing you want to do is basically click on 2 sustain clusters, right? So there will be different solutions for sustain. You can combine. You can once again decide if you wanna. In this case, on the dualist side, you could be doing pure leech, so you vitality void, pick vitality void, and you would pick here this cluster here, hematophagy, or you can say I'm gonna do choose 1 cluster sustain is leech, and my second sustain cluster could be, for example, life region, right? So in this example, I'll just pick leech. It's really up to you. This is flexible. As long you kill monsters and you like character lives, that's all. Character lives, that's all matters. So let's move on. The last thing we want to pick is another 2 mechanical defense clusters. So 2 mechanical defense clusters. Once again, this is basically suppression, basically block, any mechanical defense, avoidance, basically avoidance or basically thickness of your character. Any mechanic that goes under this this category of thickness or avoidance, right? So since we are holding a shield, would make more sense to probably pick a block. So that's one cluster here that picks block, right? Testudo, give me chance to block. Another cluster could be maximum elemental resistances, right? But once again, which mechanical cluster you pick could be also fortify or block and suppression with entrenched, right? Suppression spell damage, right? Chance to suppress spell damage. This is very flexible once again, but every class, every archetype gets two clusters that you can scale on the skill tree, right? So let's just go with I guess what you should do is consider the downside of block. The downside of block is probably one shot, so you could consider saying I'm gonna, in this case, because I wanna cover the downside of one defense, I can cover that with the other defense, which probably is fortify. It's really flexible, whatever works for you, it's fine, right? And just like that, we have built 12 defense clusters, like 6 life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 life clusters, right? Check. Then we have cloth and chain, and this wheel on dualist I like to count this is one wheel. Another armor and evasion cluster here. Then we have 2 sustain clusters here, hematophagy and vitality void, check, right? And now basically what we want to do is look at the next section of the skill tree, which is travel nodes, no more than 24 points, right? So after picking all of this, you want to check all the travel nodes that are after the starting era 17 points. Everything after 17 points of starting era, you want to check if the number of travel nodes is actually correct. So let's check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 here, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, right? So what that means, as long as the number of travel nodes is below 24 points, that means that your skill tree is balanced. That means that you haven't lost on, that you haven't over invested on your skill tree, right? It is very, very important. So, and as you see, we are around level 80. So if I would probably play the game, I would also have an aura and probably pick some, you could pick some aura, because if you have like an aura gem, maybe you stacking aura as a added to the character, you pick, and then you have basically roughly the base tree made that is level 85, right? So, and that's how you make, that's how you copy tags, from the tag list by using the structure, basic archetype model structure, or you could call it archetype blueprint, into the skill tree and make a base tree, right? All after that, what you have to do, you can specialize into anything else you want that is along the path. So let's say I want to have specialized, I want to double down on the bleed damage. So what I do, I just click on the bleed damage, right? Or I could say I want to double down on crit or accuracy. I can have click on this node, which gives you eagle eye, which gives you accuracy, some crit. I want to double down on anything I want to choose how else I play. I want my bleed be stronger, I want my hit be stronger, I want my block chance be stronger, I want whatever else you want. You want a crit chance stronger, you can click here dismembering, whatever else you want, whatever else makes sense. After that is, this is the specialization part of the tree, which I will talk more closer in another video. And that's it, and that is how you copy tags from the tag list using the basic structure archetype model, or you can say archetype blueprint, onto the skill tree. And thank you for watching. Please follow and subscribe for more organic Path of Exile videos.